Welcome to the Explainer. So, almost every IT support and QA pro out there has faced this exact nightmare: scattered, completely undocumented APIs. Well, today, we're going to tackle that problem head on. Our goal here is to literally transform your chaotic, scattered API notes into a beautifully organized, self-updating Postman collection living right inside a shared team workspace.
Okay, let's dive into this. On the left, we've got a painfully familiar scene, right? An urgent support ticket comes in, some API is throwing a 404 error, and you're just scrambling. You're digging through endless Slack threads or outdated Google Docs, just trying to figure out the right endpoint parameters. It's frustrating and it's slow. But then, look at the right side. This is our after state. A clean, centralized, self-updating Postman collection where everything your team needs is just one click away. And hey, if you feel like you're drowning in API sprawl, you are absolutely not alone. According to the 2025 State of the API report, a whopping 93% of API teams still face collaboration blockers. I mean, to put that into perspective, almost everyone is struggling with this. And why does this matter for us? Because broken collaboration leads directly to broken APIs. When support engineers and QA testers can't find accurate API contracts, the agreed upon rules for how an API should actually behave, bug fixing takes days instead of minutes, making IT support so much harder than it needs to be. So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We're going to start by looking at the API knowledge chaos. Then we'll move into organizing by domain folders, writing dynamic markdown docs, publishing public team documentation, and we'll wrap it all up with a real-world support scenario. Let's get right into it. Section 1, the API knowledge chaos. Especially with recent pricing changes, meaning free plans are solo only, setting up a standard team workspace is basically your official hub for eliminating all this chaos. Moving to Section 2, organizing by domain folders. Because good documentation always starts with a really solid macro-level structure. Let's move to and see how this builds. If you're working on a Postman free account, you can absolutely set up a shared team workspace to act as your central hub. We'll be using a super simple 3-step workflow here. First, organize requests into logical folders. Then, document them with clear descriptions. And finally, publish the whole thing to your team. Now, the secret sauce for that first step is domain-driven design. Instead of a massive, unreadable list of like 50 random endpoints, we logically group them by domain. Think auth, users, payments, products. This way, when a new QA tester gets a ticket about a billing failure, they don't have to search the whole collection. It's totally intuitive. They just go straight to the payments folder. Section 3, writing dynamic markdown docs. So now that our macro-level folders are sorted out, let's zoom in a bit and shift our focus to the micro details of the individual requests. A lot of people completely dread writing docs because they think it means staring at a blank page. But Postman documentation is actually an instantly generated, self-updating web view built directly from your collection's existing request metadata. Stuff like the URLs and headers you've already saved. You don't have to write it from scratch. Postman literally does the heavy lifting for you. You just have to give it a little context. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how incredibly simple the input is inside Postman's built-in Markdown editor. You just type out a clean, single-sentence purpose, list your required parameters, and drop in an example JSON response. And since it fully supports Markdown, you can easily throw in headers, bold text, code blocks, the whole shebang. What you type here instantly translates into a highly professional, readable doc for your team. To really make these descriptions shine, there are a few best practices you should follow. State the purpose in one single sentence. Clearly outline what's required versus what's optional. And, this is absolutely crucial, always provide both success and common error case examples. Your big takeaway here, always use clear labels and placeholder values. Actually, let me emphasize that. Never ever use real production credentials here. Providing safe, clear examples makes debugging vastly faster for your IT support teams. Section 4, publishing public team documentation. All right, so our folders are organized, our descriptions are beautifully written, and we are ready to share this knowledge with the rest of IT and QA. But this raises a pretty big question, right? How do we actually share this without reverting to the painful, old-school method? Exporting static JSON files that are immediately out of date or, worse, endlessly copying and pasting snippets into Slack. Well, the answer is Postman's publishing feature, and it takes literally 3 clicks. 1. Navigate to your collection and click View Complete Documentation. 2. Click the Published Docs button. 3. Generate your live web link. The true beauty of this collaborative method is that as you keep updating the collection in your workspace, the published documentation stays in sync automatically. No more outdated versions floating around. It's a real game changer. And the experience for the people consuming this, it's fantastic. They get a live, self-updating URL and auto-generated code snippets in different languages. But the absolute best part is the Run in Postman button. It allows any team member to instantly fork the collection, meaning they create their own safe, runnable copy, and they can start testing it themselves right then and there. Organizations like Memento actually use this exact feature to create a seamless boutique storefront experience, showing their users all the API possibilities alongside clear, runnable instructions.
Section 5, Real-World Support Scenario. Let's bring this home and see exactly how this setup transforms a support team's daily workflow.
And this brilliantly illustrates the night and day difference we're talking about. On the left, a support engineer hits a payment API error and is stuck waiting days for a developer to reply on Slack just to explain what the error code means. But on the right, they have instant troubleshooting power via your published, centralized docs. The waiting time is just completely eliminated. Let's map this out for a brand new hire. Minute 1, you Slack them the published documentation link. Minute 5, they navigate over to the payments folder and review the expected responses. By minute 10, they hit that Run in Postman button and successfully execute their very first test request. And hey, this isn't just theory. Organizations like Visma implemented this exact structure and slashed their API bug fixing time to under 10 minutes. So the crucial point is that number right there, 10. 10 minutes to productivity. Getting your support team from discovery to their first successful API call in under 10 minutes is the ultimate goal of team documentation. When you hit that mark, you eliminate blockers, reduce frustration, and massively accelerate your team's output. I want to leave you with this provocative thought. If your newest QA tester or IT support hire joined your team today, like right now, how long would it actually take them to make their first successful API call? If the answer is days or even hours, well, you know exactly what you need to do. Jump into your Postman shared workspace, set up those domain folders, write some quick markdown, and hit publish. Start building your single source of truth today. Thanks for joining me on this explainer and happy documenting.